Ready?
Does it show we're live?
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. There it goes. It just took a few seconds. All righty. I'm going to be talking about the group I'm going to be talking about is my son, my best friend, and myself. We like to get together and play games. We play board games, and sometimes we play deck building games. When we are playing, there are sometimes there's conflict, usually in the form of fairness or rules and how they're applied. I know that in chapter 10, section 10.1, it talks about self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the person believing that they can complete a task. This can be from a previous experience and completed a task, as we have all played several games and won at different times, we believe that we can win. And that's part of the joy of playing. It gives us an attitude of self-efficacy. I'm saying that correctly, I hope, to be able to make choices that lead to wins. When playing Legendary, which is a deck building game, and you're probably asking what a deck building game is, and I'll give you the brief synopsis. Deck building games make the experience of crafting a deck, which is an explicit focus of playing the game. It's not that players build a deck in order to play the game. It is that they play the game in order to build a deck. Legendary is a deck building game set in the Marvel comic universe. Each player begins with 10 base cards for recruitment or fighting. Players choose a number of hero decks from like Spider-Man, Hulk, Cyclops, Wolverine. My son has, I think, over about 60 or 70 different types of decks, all various heroes. And then you shuffle them together. This becomes the pool from where we recruit from. Then the players choose mastermind villain deck, like Magneto, Loki, Doctor Doom, etc., to fight against. Each villain having their own abilities over the course of the game, players will recruit various hero cards to add to their deck in order to build a stronger and more resourceful deck. As players fight and defeat villains from the villain deck, they collect those cards, which will be worth points at the end of the game. Whoever has those points wins. Conflict can arise when a limited quantity of rare cards have been recruited. Discussions usually start shortly after about um, how ways to make the game less of a chance and more of a strategy. We have had ideas about passing out rare cards randomly. This can be thought of as a fair than letting the rare cards come up at random and recruited by the same person each time. Since there are three of us, it can be tricky not to upset the balance of the fun of the game when conflict does come. This reminds me of the text in chapter 12, section 12.4, when it talks about group think. When in a group setting, you're influenced by the people around you and the way they think. Groupthink is that the group aligns to get a consensus. It can be done in a different number of ways. One of our favorite ways of handling conflict that's unable to be solved while we're playing the game is to roll the dice. It helps us not to get upset with each other because the dice has made the decision for us.
So my question would be, would you say that persuasion from chapter 12, section 12.3 is used to end conflict when playing your game?
Yeah. When one person feels strongly and it's a good argument as to why the aspect of the game can change, we are willing to listen to them. The power of persuasion does change our mind sometimes. Other times, kiss the dice.
I hear that. I'm going to use persuasion as my word for next month now.
Right.
So the group that I chose is my work group, aka my team / coworkers at my job. My group consists of probably around 10 people, not including 2 supervisors, 1 manager, and somebody else that I'm forgetting because I feel like they're irrelevant. Um,
Or relevant.
Yeah. So that would make like 13 to 14 people. Um, to be honest, there isn't just one single person that is important. We're all important. At least we all like to consider ourselves that. It's probably just because my entire group is like egotistical. But we do make each other feel equal by always commenting on each other's self-efficiency. As stated on page 346, chapter 10, self-efficiency is an individual's belief in their own capability to complete a task. So the other day, the whole group did get into an argument, and it's not even an argument on Teams because we use Teams at work too. So we have a work chat on Teams and we have a work chat on our cell phones. So the one on the cell phones is the one where we can be free, and it's just our one main supervisor, and we use cuss words and all that stuff. That's the vulgar get crazy chat when we don't like something. Um, so the other day, our supervisor, the second one that we don't really like, wanted us to have pro-social behavior to our client company, but they do fail to provide us reciprocity. I know I didn't say that right. With us as the employees. So we make outbound phone calls for an insurance company to different states. And right now we were doing 6 states and now we're doing 10. And there's different plans of insurance. So we have probably like 13 to 14 different scripts. And there's really just arguments every day about this because it's just so messy. I work for a company, but we're employed by another company. I'm forgetting what the word for that is. But we basically have to keep the client happy, and the client never knows what they really want. One day it's do one thing, the next day that's wrong. Why are you doing that? You're supposed to be doing this. And that's what we argue about in the group chat because it's just so we're like behooved all the time because all we're supposed to do is do outbound calls to welcome people into the insurance, give them information about their insurance benefits, try to answer any questions that they have. But that's it. That's literally where the job stops. We're not trained to do anything else like what your co-pays are or anything specific like that. So they're just adding on different things to our job description that's not supposed to be on our job description. And we always argue about the pay. Literally, it's like every day in the chat. So when are we getting a raise? um, to be honest, that's really the only thing we argue about besides when other things occur. We're very territorial over our own supervisor. So, like, when another supervisor comes in and tries to make suggestions or whatever, yeah, we do snitch to our supervisor, the text chat. And then it goes from having the argument in the text chat to having the argument in the actual work official chat on Teams. Um, yeah. We never really resolved those issues, like, ever. Well, I don't know. I feel as though our resolution is when we talk stuff in the text chat, because everyone gets to vent, they get to cuss. Nothing's being on the company time or on the company computer or anything like that. So that's probably the resolution to like all of our arguments right there. And we like to send each other funny work memes too. So yeah, that definitely gets all of us through the day. Um, so of course the key terms that I picked out of the chapters were reciprocity, that's not how you say it, but pro-social behavior and self-efficiency. Um, so What would your question be?
My question would be, what type of social role does job expect?
So they expect us to be, I'm just forgetting a lot of words this morning. They expect us to be like,
Must be getting old.
yes, I am. The memory is already going. They expect us to be, how do I say? I feel as though it's like a military role. Like do as we say, or you're getting fired, you can leave. Um, they expect us to do anything and everything at a drop of a dime, which is really not how a company should treat people, but they expect us to be in our place about it because we're the employees, which leads to disagreements.
That definitely would.
Okay.
Alrighty. I think that pretty much concludes our little presentation. Yes,
Yes. Oh, and for everyone that didn't know, that is Robin and I'm Lourdes.
there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Introductions afterwards.
Say
Well,
the
thank you
best
very
part.
much. And I'll let you stop this recording.